All right, folks, welcome back to week 9 of the Glacedia Draft League Season 2, where we have Catastrophe facing off against CPS with huge playoff implications for both sides. Catastrophe is 3-5 on the season. They started 0-5, but have won 3 in a row since and are looking for a playoff spot. If they lose, they are eliminated. And meanwhile, CPS is right in the playoff hunt. They are just one spot, one standing point down in the playoffs. They are 9th in the league out of 14 with a 4-4 record. If they lose here, they'll be down with SJ Tua, Dogwa Des Dogs. They'll actually be tied with Catastrophe in standings points. They really need to win to have a good chance at cracking a playoff spot. We'll see how Dojamax does facing off against most likely GG Cookie King, and we'll get right into it. Alright, there we go. We have Cookie King representing Catastrophe facing off against Dojamax with Lurkalid and representing CPS. Two sides desperately looking for a win. And who will get it? Pretty interesting matchup. Obviously, we have the food and light type versus the water and dark type. And here comes Celestian, but Harmony, it's put to sleep. And that Celestian will not be doing anything until it gets attacked or wakes up after a few turns. Celestian, second round pick for CPS. Meanwhile, Charizard was the first pick. Picked 8th overall. Looking to get some battles in. I don't think it has too many battles. Oh, it does. It has 6 battles under its belt, 2 and 4, as it gets swapped out into Horbeast. And Lurkalid is brought back in. And now we know 2 Doodles from both sides. Lurkalid is 1-3 in 4 games, so these records aren't looking too good. But another switch in as Kibara is brought in to tank the crunch. Pretty decent amount of damage, but I think you're happy if you're a Cookie King taking a couple of those hits, if it means big damage on this Lurkalid. And it has to swap out back into that Celestian, mimicking Unbreakable, but it goes for Mind Empowerment, so it greatly boosts the magic attack, and that Celestian will not wake up. And it's starting to look a little scary now. This Kibara, it's not very fast, but it can do a big amount of damage. There's another Mind Empowerment. It is outspeeding the Celestian. +4 Opal Pulse consumes the Crystal Taffy to do more damage, and there goes the Celestian. 1-hit KO, and that's first blood. Catastrophe opening the game. The big setup. And a very scary Kibara. Kibara usually is very bulky. So to have a bulky Doodle like that, beefed up, is very worrisome. Dojamax probably is wanting a metal type or a melee type. Get that big damage. But the trait is Unbreakable. We look at that, yeah. It takes 25% less damage from super effective moves, which is good. So even though it has those big time weaknesses, it can still tank it a little bit better. Fabi Lupin is brought in. Interesting choice. And it goes for a Leaf Blade. It won't get the KO. It is a critical hit, but Cone of Cold, easy 1-hit KO. Perhaps Dojamax realizing he doesn't have anything for this Kabara, and it's a big problem. As he loses his second Doodle, Lurkalid brought in once again, looking to finish the job. You already saw how much Crunch did. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing isn't enchanted. Goes for the Tidal Slam. And there goes the Kabara, but the Kabara has done its due diligence. It's gotten 2 KOs. And that's a pretty good trade-off. Here is Core Lizard. It's a 5v4. Now, Core Lizard does have an Awakened form. We have not seen an Awakened form from either side of the field yet. Will we see it right here? Yes, we will. And there is Awakened Core Lizard brought into play. Lurkalid has to switch into Theaterror. Goo Blast does hardly anything. No poison. This Theaterror looking to wall whatever it can. Could we see this Theaterror awaken? And could we see an Awakened matchup? Here we go. Yes, it is. Awakened Theaterror. Core Lizard has to swap out. And Bronzok is brought in to wall the Burning Orb and boost its fire type attacks. Oh no! Big misplay. And all of a sudden, this Bronzok is looking very scary. And it goes for the Burn Orb on Theaterror. Vague Vortex hardly does anything. Perhaps Cookie King just keeping safe. Worrying about that check. Worrying about that Lurkalid. Goes for another Burning Orb. Trying to bait in that Lurkalid. Burn it. Cut its attack by half. But this Theaterror is staying in and just chipping away. Which honestly, fair enough. Now if Cookie King really wants to, he can swap back into that Chair Guard. Could we see a big prediction play? Will Dojamax go into the Lurkalid now? No. Just goes for the Disarm. Interesting. Disarming the used crayons. No more residual healing. But it also tanks a Heat Bash. Boosted Heat Bash, by the way. Will we see the Theaterror stay in, or will we see this? There it is. There's the switch. And Flaunt. So it heals. But that Lurkalid is now safely brought in. And it can hit big. Although that Core Lizard can tank most of the hits. So we'll see what happens. Will we see a switch? Yes, we will. Into that Core Lizard. No, not into the Core Lizard. To the Horror Beast. And a great play. As he realizes, hey, he's probably not going to go for the water move. I'm going to go into Horror Beast, which is resists that dark move. And Cold KFC, the Voltitude, is brought in, taking the Bestial Wrath. Spiky Thorns brings it down to half health. We now know 5 of the 6 Doodles on both sides. It's a pretty close matchup. We've seen a lot more opportunities for big KOs, but Dojamax ties the game up with a jolt. Orbeez doesn't get any chance to attack. And now it's a 4v4. Now it's Core Lizard brought in. We'll likely see a switch here. Poison type attack. Super effective on 2 of the 4 Doodles. The other one is very low. Really all comes down to this last Doodle. Otherwise, this Core Lizard could just wipe the floor with Dojamax. But if it doesn't, then Dojamax has a pretty good shot at finishing off the Bronzok, at defeating the Chair Guard. But whatever that last Doodle is, We'll have to find out. It could be a Wizville, it could be a Kelpimer, a Finwick, a Jestwhirl, a Snowrola, a Sombrock, or a Jineko. Goo Blast, so it just tanks the Voltitude. The Voltitude is down. Interesting plays. That doesn't seem like a good sign for CPS. That last Doodle could be Scorporuli, Abyssint, Ryu, Frigale, Junipero, Bullduo, or Calamander. And he brings in the Theaterror. And Goo Blast doesn't do enough. Vague Vortex, hardly anything. And the Theaterror is now down. It's a 4v2. What could that last Doodle be? I think we're going to figure out right now. I think it might be an Abyssint. Something's telling me. Or something that gets completely cooked by this core lizard. It could be the Frigale. It could be the Junipero. I don't think it would be Scorporuli. Perhaps it's the Kiryu. Kiryu would do some decent damage here. It is Junipero. So yeah, it's weak to the poison type move. It really needs a fire type attack to do enough. But even if it does use a fire type attack, here comes the Bronzok. And it goes for a life sap. So the Bronzok does tank the hit, but this Junipero can't really do anything. It just gets walled. Dojamax has a minute left on the timer. And I think, with that last Doodle being revealed, I think we have a quick thinking from the Junipero, so it's just going for the setup. It goes for the Burning Orb. Okay, it's not done yet. Junipero is setting up, looking for a big attack. Although all it can really do is Life Sap. This is really the last chance. Cookie tried to go for the prediction, assuming the Lurklid would be brought in because Junipero is just walled by this, but there could be a chance. With enough healing, with enough setup. There's the switch. And it goes for the Heat Bash. It tanks the hit. Good play by Dojamax. So it doesn't go for the setup. It just baits out the Burning Orb. And Lurklid is brought in. However, the Core Lizard is at 76%, so it is still very healthy. It just goes for the Tidal Slam. There's the KO, and the Bronzok is down. It's Charizard, it's Core Lizard, and it is the Mystery Doodle. Dojamax just has to sacrifice this Lurklid. Hit the Core Lizard for as much as it can. Another Tidal Slam. Decent damage. Goo Blast does get the KO. And now it is just Junipero versus the world. It's still at full health, but a Goo Blast probably is going to one-hit KO it. We'll have to see. Could a fire type attack be enough from this Junipero? Goo Blast is faster. It survives. Life Sap for the no good. And the Core Lizard lives on. Dojamax cannot KO that Core Lizard. And that looks to be it. Catastrophe. After starting 0-5 on the season, they win their 4th game in a row. And all of a sudden are right in the playoff picture. There's the game. Close match. It is a 2-0 win for Catastrophe. What a close game that was. We have one more week left for the playoffs. Still so many playoff positions yet to be determined. Only 2 teams have clinched. Those being Dodo Delinquents and Tartares. Meanwhile, we have Tactical Fong Strike, which is 5-4. We have Super Sigmas, which is 5-4. WC Office, which is 5-4. We still have one team that is yet to battle, Fighter Jets, looking to battle. If they go 6-3, that will put them in a playoff spot, guaranteed. Meanwhile, We Hate Fixie, Doodlebobs are both eliminated. There's still so many spots. We still have 6 available spots in the playoffs. There will be 8 teams total. One more week. One more round of battles to go. We'll get there when we get there, fellas. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.